Aloha, this is Joshua Bowles with Snake Road Sawmill and Lyric Woodwork. Milling really defines what we do here because of the huge creative control it allows us. It allows us to control the entire creative process. Often we'll go out into the field before the tree even gets cut down, meet with the homeowner, the arborist, and describe, let's cut here, let's cut here. Always thinking about what's the end purpose, what's the ideal for this piece of wood to be made into. Milling is 1,000 small decisions. There's how you orient the log to get the best character, the best grain. There's thickness, because in furniture, proportion is everything. And what it allows us to do is, as we're milling and we see this piece would be ideal for a headboard. Well, that doesn't need to be 2 inches. 1.25 inches is about the appropriate thickness. Or often, one of the things we do is make alayas, which is a traditional Hawaiian surfboard, and those will be even thinner, like 1 full inch. We also make poi boards and blanks for poi boards, which are 4 inches. So if we didn't have the sawmill, we can make any of those things. And we use 2 sawmills. We have the band sawmill, and today what we're going to be looking at is the Lucas mill. The particular one that I've got is about 30 years old, really tough machine. They're made in Australia, and the great thing about them is pretty much anything that goes wrong, you can fix it with a hammer and a screwdriver. So essentially, it's a massive chainsaw on rails. And it's great for the woods of the Pacific because these are tropical hardwoods, they're dense, there's lots of knots. And a lot of these are urban trees from people's backyard. So we will find bullets, nails, barbed wire, all kinds of stuff. And it just keeps going through it. You just have to sharpen the blade. One question people ask is, how do we get our logs? And there's not a simple answer to that because there's this web of relationships that we've cultivated and developed over the years with landowners, with arborists and tree trimmers. One way it often works is we'll get a call from a homeowner. Maybe they have a mango tree in their backyard that their kids played on growing up and has sentimental value. And they'd like to have something made out of the wood. So we'll meet with the arborist, describe where we'd like to see it cut. And then I work with a hauler who has a boom truck who can haul off the logs, which makes the arborist's life easier. And then when we start the milling process, we'll invite the homeowner out and they'll get their pick of the pieces to make into a table or a desk or some meaningful and beautiful object. 12 years ago, when we started the business, our mission was to make beautiful and useful objects. And it turns out that it's actually an incredibly green process. A lot of times these trees are getting cut down. For instance, here in Hawaii, there's a recent light rail project. All these trees that they're cutting down, typically they'll be put through the chipper and turned into mulch. And so we get these logs and we use the wood for furniture. To lubricate the saw, there's actually a local mechanic who has used motor oil, so that's what we use for the chain. And then the sawdust is used for mushroom farmers, gardeners, or for like raku ceramics, firing. And so it's an incredibly green process. We've additionally put in solar panels over the shop. So the amount of energy or resources that are used to turn the log into furniture is gallon gasoline. And you compare that to pieces that are made in a factory, that have to be warehoused, put on a container ship. They use a huge amount of energy. And here, less than a gallon of gas. Sometimes I reflect on how much we choose our occupation, our path, and how much it chooses us. My grandparents, after the Second World War, bought a piece of land in Northern California. And my grandfather had cut down some pine trees from the property and milled them into beams and siding for the barn and the house. And so I remember as a kid, back behind the barn, there's this huge pile of sawdust that me and my brother used to love playing in. And now, 40 years later, at it again. So after 30 years of loyal service, the last engine died, called it quits. And this is an old machine. and the motor that had been made, they don't make anymore. So we scrambled a little bit, but we found a riding mower, and we were able to pull the engine out of that, install it here, and now we've got another 30 years left to go. All right, what we've got on the mill now is a good-sized monkey pod. Came from Makakilo, and it's grown too close to the house. Homeowner had to take it out, and now it's going to become desks, and I should say just make some good headboards too. This part never gets old. If you love the woods of Pacific as much as we do, please subscribe to our channel. And if you got some logs you'd like to see turned into beautiful furniture, give us a call or visit.